Hi, anyone and everyone. My name is Kim. I'm the owner, and I run Humble Hermit LLC. Come as you are, Oracle. Music Mama 80. I have 2 YouTube channels, a thriving TikTok that's semi-viral, an Instagram account, a Facebook, and a business Facebook. And I'm just on here telling my story, some of the crazy things that have happened to me in my life, as I was called to do last year and have been putting it off ever since. And just a little recap from part 8. 2022, I was going through my separation and divorce with my ex-husband, and at the same time was being emotionally, mentally, verbally, and sexually abused by my ex-best friend of 30 plus years. I left off on part 8. The last bit of contact I had with the ex-friend, the ex-best friend, was 3 interactions through text. That was in, I want to say, the end of October, beginning of November of 2022. It's the last time I talked to her. I was also in a relationship with a man that I met through her and her sister. I was in this relationship with him for about 2 months. A sexual relationship that I kept going back to try and get information, because I knew something was going on between him and the ex-best friend, and they were trying to get me involved in the situation in some way. The last time I saw him was the week of Thanksgiving of 2022. I didn't talk to him for about a month and a half. No, little over a month. I texted him on Christmas and wished him a Merry Christmas after having no contact for about a month. And he texted me back and wished me the same. I had ordered him a Christmas gift that was delayed, and it didn't come until after New Year's. I did not reach out to him for New Year's. He did not reach out to me. But a few days later, he did. It was a Friday. I don't remember if it was the first Friday after New Year's or the second. I honestly don't remember. For some reason, I keep remembering January 9th, but I don't know if that has anything to do with that or not. Um, Sometimes I just remember dates for no reason. But he reached out to me to say thank you for the gift, and then kind of implied that he wanted to get together. And at this point, again, I hadn't seen him since Thanksgiving, and I had assumed our relationship was done and over. I had gotten as much information as I could, which was next to nothing. And I if, as far as I was concerned, we had cut ties. It was done, it was over. It was over with her, it was over with him. But he implied that he wanted to get together, and I said, okay, fine, then you can come here whenever you want. And I gave him my address, and for the rest of the weekend, he proceeded to string me along. I mean, I wasn't being strung along because I knew he was never going to come. I just knew he was never going to come over. And I think it was Sunday night. I texted him something, and he responded back that he was in like a local town, like 2 towns over. And I texted him back again my address saying like you're minutes away from me. And he he googled it, like he did like a map quest, like a, like he put it in his phone and he mapped it, and he sent it back to me, and he said like 17 minutes, laugh out loud. And I didn't even respond. I don't think I responded. I'm pretty sure I didn't respond to it. And at this point, him and I are still friends on Facebook. And, or technically, I follow him because the way he has his page set up, he doesn't do like friends, he does like followers. Um, yeah, that's a whole other story. Um, just another clown that thinks he has clout, but whatever. Um, I posted something to my Facebook. I want to say it was like that Tuesday evening, and he messaged me in the middle of the night, like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I said this before. He's a trucker. He drives, and he drives overnight. Well, he messaged me, and I wasn't awake, but I must have woke up like within a half an hour of him messaging me, and I saw it. And I texted him back, and we went back and forth a little bit, and he was asking me if the post was about him. And first of all, like I don't, even then at the time, like coming off my divorce, my separation, everything that happened with the ex-best friend, everything that was apparently currently happening with the man, um like I, I was already in Kim mode. Like I have my own stuff to deal with. I have things going on at work, things going on with family and friends, and this man is not the center of my life. Just like what had happened with the ex best friend, which was utterly devastating and absolutely destroyed me. Like, I literally had to set that aside and do my life. Like, I had so many other things going on. Like, my hands were in so many pots, my mind was in so many places. Like, and I was working, and I, was juggling and doing all these things. And it's like, I don't have time for BS. Like, the only thing that I have time for is me. And at that point, like I said, as far as I was concerned, my relationship with him was over. My relationship with her was definitely over when she did what she did to me. And I woke up and I ran away. So, like, nothing I post is about anybody but me. And that may sound selfish, but that's just the God's honest truth. Like, I was and I still am in what I call Kim mode, which is I'm doing me. I don't, and it's not that I don't care about others. It's not that I don't care about family and friends. I do. I absolutely do. But at the end of the day, everything comes back to me, and I do what is best for me, and I do for me. I put me first. And coming off of the marriage that I came out of, however you want to phrase that, I absolutely will continue to do this for the rest of my life. I will never, ever again put someone above me to the point where I lose myself. The ex best friend helped me learn that as well. So when he came at me asking me if something that I posted on Facebook was about him, I just immediately thought, like, This is so childish. Like who is so conceited and in their ego that they just apparently assume something is about them? Not to mention the fact that, again, other than the brief conversation we had had the weekend before and saying hello at Christmas, like I have not seen this person in, now it's been like a month and a half. And again, to me, the whole relationship was over. It was sex based. It was for me to get information. I got what I got and I left it. And that's fine. It was what it was. It wasn't anything else to me. I didn't have feelings for this man. Absolutely not. There was no attachment there. Like when we didn't talk from Thanksgiving to Christmas, when I tell you, like, I didn't even think about it. Like, I had so much going on within that month. Like, I I didn't even think about it. Like, I texted him on Christmas thinking, like, oh, I'm going to text him Merry Christmas to be nice and maybe to see, if there's some way to get some type of information out of him. Um, because I was collecting information at the time about him and the ex best friend. But that didn't happen, and that's fine. Like I said, that it was done. It was over. In my mind, it was over on the week of Thanksgiving. So, pardon me. So to have him text me and ask me if I was making posts on Facebook that was about him, I was um a little irked to say the least. And I told him, I think I made a comment about like like I write posts about me, like things having to do with me. And he was trying to talk to me and all this stuff, and finally I just messaged him and I said, "Aren't you driving? Like maybe text me like when you're done driving and you're not on the road." I may not love this man. I may not barely even care for this man whatsoever other than the fact that he's another human. But I don't want him to get in a car accident on the road in the middle of the night. So I told him, I'm like, you can text me like when you get to where you're going. Like I'm going back to bed. And I did. I went back to bed. I got up in the morning, went to work. I sent him a text message when I got to work. Now, at the time, I want to say I was starting at like 5 or 6 a.m. So I sent him a text message just saying, when you get to your hotel, because usually like they would put him up in a hotel for the day and he would nap and rest and eat or whatever. And then he would be back on the road in the evening going somewhere else. So I said, when you get to your hotel and you're rested, I said, respond back to me. I said, but as far as I'm concerned, just so you know, like this this relationship, quote unquote relationship, is over. It was over at Thanksgiving. Like I didn't hear from you for a month. I figured, it ran its course. We were done. Um, I said, there really wasn't a lot of equal give and take. There really wasn't a lot of respect for my time because I was the one that was always going to him, to his place. He never came to my place, which now, like looking back, I am so absolutely fucking grateful for because I would not want this man in my home. Not at all. I didn't then, and subconsciously, I think I didn't then, and I sure as hell do not now. Um, but yeah, I sent him this message basically telling him I had thought we were already done. So, basically, for the lack of respect. And I went to work, and 2.5 hours later, I went on my first break, and there's a message waiting for me telling me that, um, like he couldn't believe that I messaged him when he hasn't even gotten to the hotel, and he can't, like he can't even rest, and da 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 da. And I was so rude, and he couldn't believe that I was quote unquote breaking up with him like that. That um I handled it poorly. Um, okay, fine. I mean, I it it was a friends with benefits essentially, and I never received any benefit personally. So, I think I handled it just fine. Um, we went back and forth like twice, and then he sent me a last message. I didn't respond. And I actually didn't even read the last text message he sent me. And I deleted everything like a day or two later. I didn't read that last text message. I have no idea what it said. I don't even care. Like, even now, I don't even care. um, yeah, I could care less that I didn't read it. It was just the fact that this man who was secretly fucking around with my best friend, who tried to put me in some type of friends with benefits situation while he was obviously involved with her. And I came to the conclusion that I'm pretty sure the two of them were trying to groom me into some type of throuple situation, third situation. I was going to be a sex toy situation. I have no idea, but something like that. Something that I did not say I was willingly participating in, something that I was never asked to participate in. And I think these two stupid idiots thought that I was so stupid that I was just going to play along and fall into this role and do whatever they told me, like literally like some blind simpleton. And the whole time, like, it's, it's the whole time I'm laughing. Honestly, I'm laughing because when you have a belief in God, when you died at the age of 7 and came back, when you work for him on a day-to-day basis, when you try to be as good a human as you can possibly be, when you do your best to radiate a light as a light being instead of a dark being, when you are someone that tries to help your community, tries to help your family and friends, donates their time, donates their money to good causes, when you're someone that is constantly trying to put out positivity in such a dark, dark world sometimes, how on earth am I the simpleton? Explain to me, and I'm just going to say this, I'm just going to throw this out there. Explain to me why almost every person in my life, family or friend, has looked at me and thought, she is the weakest person I know. And I can take advantage of her in a heartbeat. And I've been waiting for this opportunity. And now I'm going to take advantage of her. I'm going to use her. I'm going to abuse her. And she's not going to know the difference because I'm going to beat her down emotionally, mentally, and verbally until she's not even realizing that she's never going to fight back, that she's just going to sit there on the ground while I unleash hate on her. Please tell me, seeing me as a lighted being, seeing me as someone that is always trying to find the positive in everything, Please tell me how any one stupid moron could possibly think that they could get one over on me. Because I'm not kidding when I tell you that almost every person in my life has thought that I was the moron, that I was the simple one, that I couldn't do for myself, that I couldn't do anything for myself, that I was lazy, that I was uninspired. I'm not lying. Almost every single person in my life has treated me like that. Family and friends, the ex-best friend, the man, a slew of others. I do not understand. I do not understand how you could absorb my light and feast off of my energy, but then turn around and think that I'm just going to let you treat me like garbage. Because let me tell you, the ex-best friend of 30 years probably treated me like garbage for a long time, and I put up with it. And I kept putting up with it because, again, she was my sister. I met this woman in the second grade. The second grade, people. I loved her like she was my sister. I said earlier in another part that I loved her like she was my little sister. That's how I always thought of her. And for her to turn around and do what she did to me, thinking that I was so dumb that I was just going to do whatever she said, when the whole time I was cataloging each and every act, each and every transgression. Because God is watching. God is always watching. When I tell you I died at the age of 7 and God talked to me, that happened. That is not a lie. When I tell you that I was told I didn't have to come back here, that I was going to suffer horrible things, endure horrible things that a human shouldn't have to, that happened. And I came back anyway. Because in my mind, I have always worked for God. Always. Now, you can have your opinions on God. That's fine. Have your opinions on God. I believe God is energy. Everything is energy. We are energy. The earth is energy. Energy is all around us. God is all around us. When I say God sees everything, that is the case because God is here. God is here right now. God is next to me. My angels, my dearly departed loved ones, as I call them, my ancestors, they're all here. They see everything because they see everything through my eyes and your eyes and the trees and the wind and the stars and the moon and the sun. We are all one thing, one entity. Energy is energy. And every day you wake up with the intention, are you going to be a positive force of energy or are you going to be a negative force of energy? And every day I wake up with the intention, other than the fact that my back is creaking and I have a cramp under my butt, I wake up with the intention that I'm going to be positive that day and it's going to be a good day. Every day I fight for the light. Every fucking day I fight for the light. And it just absolutely astounds me that people look at me as if I'm fucking nothing. As if I don't even have a brain in my head. And I said once before I think I did a post on one of my blogs, and I think I did a post on my personal Facebook page, that I didn't understand why people always underestimate me and assume that I have no value and I have nothing to give. And I just made a comment And I said, I've bought 3 houses. I bought my townhouse. I'm the one that put the down payment on our house when the ex husband and I were married and we wanted a house. I'm the one that put the down payment down on that. Me, not him. I bought my condo after my divorce. I bought my first car. I helped my ex husband get 2 cars, one of which he still owes me money for, honestly. Not that it matters, but I'm just saying, like, for people to think that I can't do anything, like, I don't understand. Like, people look at me as weak. People look at me as someone that, like, oh, I wouldn't look up to them. Like, they're codependent. They can't do anything. When in fact, when you look at me, I'm the exact fucking opposite of what every person in my life has ever said about me. Codependent? I laugh at that. I absolutely fucking laugh at that, because when I look back on my childhood, I was raised to take care of myself. I was an 80s baby. I I was raised to take care of myself and then take care of my sibling. People ask me, "Well, why don't you have kids?" And it's funny because I look back on my childhood and I think I already had a kid. I raised a kid. I raised my brother. Like, and that's not to put anything on my parents, because my parents had to work. Everybody has to make a living. And I stayed home and I watched my brother. But when people ask me, like, well, why didn't you have kids? It's like, I did. I raised a kid for years when I was a kid. And when you think about it and you look back on those things, that's not an easy feat for a kid to raise a kid. But that's how it was back then. And it kind of amazes me that people will, like, look at me and put me in a category and think that they can just walk all over me and step all over me and use me and treat me like garbage and use me for sex and rape me and assault me and not think twice about it. And it really just brings home the notion that all of these people that have done that to me in the past have such an underlying darkness in them. And for years, my light, my blood source was feeding these people. And at some point you realize, like, I just need to cut them off. Like, I can't surround myself with that negativity, with that darkness, because that's not who I am. And I don't want that in my life. Friends or family. Like, I had to cut people out of my life because it's toxic. What the ex-best friend did to me was criminal. Was absolutely fucking criminal. When I tell you that I'm pretty sure her sister, probably some of her other girlfriends, knew, that's not a lie. I'm sure there were a bunch of people that knew what she was doing. I'm sure I'm not the first. I'm absolutely sure I'm not the first. And I probably was not the last. But there isn't a day that goes by that I am not absolutely grateful for everything that has happened to me, because it taught me, it made me stronger. I'm a better human for it. My intuition is heightened. My psychic abilities are heightened. Everything about me has been enhanced because of everything I've ever had to go through. Every little tiny horror that I had to walk through as a lighted being, walking through the darkness by myself from a very early age because there was nobody there to protect me. I had to learn to protect myself. And yes, my shield, my veil, I dropped those things when I thought I was in the presence of a loved one. But it's hilarious because now I look back on it, and I mean, it's not hilarious, but it is hilarious because I look back on it, and the one event in my life that was the absolute most horrific thing that ever happened to me, what the ex-best friend did to me is, I mean, to call it the ultimate betrayal, it's not even, it was so deceptive, it was so dark, it was so demonic what she did to me that it changed my whole perspective on everything. And for that, I'm grateful because I have cut out those family members and those friends that thought it was okay to abuse me, that thought it was okay to laugh at me behind my back, that secretly told each other that I was a laughing stock and I was useless and I couldn't do anything for myself. When the whole time, I was out there unprotected, defending myself, trying to find my own honor among thieves, because I was surrounded by thieves. I am forever grateful for all the experiences that I've experienced because they all created the warrior that I am today. This was part 9.